And folks, we're back.
All right, where were we? Ah, yes. If I remember correctly.
And after that first season, we'd all worked our asses off, and now we're canceled.
The bastards, man! I can't believe they let you go.
We just heard.
I don't think it had hit me yet. No, we have to do The Kids in the Hall. I couldn't do anything else.
Well, let's get started. Shave your head, start again. It's all going down, man.
After the first season, our show was canceled. And it was sort of shock. There was a lot of thinking about what's next. Or more worrying. It was probably less organized and more worrying. We thought that for a month or two, like a couple months.
Oh, you were there. Thank you.
There used to be these awards called the Cable Ace Awards, which was kind of a big deal. Cable was starting to have its own thing. It was kind of the hip thing compared to the Emmys, right? And we got nominated for a raft of awards, and I got nominated for Best Actor.
We got to go to Los Angeles. Oh, one last weekend where we were in showbiz.
I remember going to the Aces, and I thought this was all a fucking joke. I thought we were just here to get drunk at some after party.
And the winner is... the winner.
Mark won, and everybody was so happy. Even a hip comedy troupe were so happy.
I did win Best Actor, beating out Gary Shandling.
I'm crushing your head, Gary Shandling.
May you rest in peace.
Show him the Ace Award. Come on. Two bourbons with ice. Yes, please.
So I just thought it was a normal part of showbiz. People winning Emmys and going, too bad we were canceled, and the audience laughing.
I think that was enough leverage for Lorne to say, really? You want to cancel him? Of course, I forgot to thank him in my speech that night.
Of course, Lorne quickly figured out how to keep us going. Thank you, Mr. Michaels.
You're welcome, Mr. McCullough. The axiom in television is the longer you're on, the longer you're on. So if you get to season 2, well, season 3 seems inevitable. You don't know how it will grow, but you know it has the potential to grow.
Lorne would go in and he would meet with HBO. Lorne just had that heft. He was able to convince people that this was going to be something. Season 2, we decided to make the show better. Season 1 had a problem in that it took 13 months to make, which if you've ever owned a calendar, you'll be aware is more months than are on a calendar. So we realized, well, the show can't take this long.
Bringing in writers is sort of a natural thing. I mean, it took just a little pressure of how much material we had to create.
Our egos were such that even though we had these great writers working with us, they could only get a piece into the show if they wrote it with one of us.
When you're writing comedy with other people, it really is who's got the biggest pecker type thing. You are constantly trying to impose your vision. Somebody would come in with the first draft, and then there'd be a million notes. Then there'd be a rewrite. Then there'd be a second rewrite.
Are you really such a talented comedy writer that you deserve a raise? I mean, you wrote this sketch, didn't you?
Yes.
It's got to be the oldest premise in the world, a guy asking his boss for a raise. This really proves your worth to us here at Comedy Inc.
And it was a tremendous competition, not just to get your stuff in the show, it was a tremendous competition for what the philosophy of what the show is all about, because everyone had their own view of that.
What is it about the word faggot that makes people so frightened?
I wanted to affect culture. You weren't allowed to talk about being homosexual, and that was certainly not allowed in comedy. Comedy was such a straight male world. I guess I was like, I'll be first. Someone's got to do it.
First you were gay, right?
Right.
Right. And then you were really gay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then he was irritatingly gay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I don't recall that one, Kevin, no.
And now you're ungay?
There were some at Saturday Night Live when I would say the kids in the hall go, oh, you mean that gay troupe? And I'd go, really? That's your takeaway? Like, I'm gonna put that in the lazy file.
Scott helped us be important for sure. Dave and I are on the other spectrum, and we just want it to be the funniest. If it says anything about the human condition, God bless me.
Evil! Evil! Impolite and evil!
Comically, Dave's sort of half of me. We're the best pair in the Kids in the Hall.
Kevin and Dave are these modern-day vaudevillians. They're just they have the greatest ideas and timing in the world.
And I came to the office one day, what are we gonna write about today? I think we should write about that horrible thing you do to people. What horrible thing is that? So you always promise them you'll do something and then you never do it?
You were supposed to meet me at the restaurant at 8 o'clock. Where were you?
Slipped my mind. But I feel horrible about the whole thing.
No, I don't want to hear it. You're the king of empty promises. You know that, man?
I think it's because I'm a child of an alcoholic. I always want to please people, and I mean it when I say it, and then the feeling for that goes away, and I don't have to do it now.
I like a good premise. I've been very proud if I write a real premise sketch, but as long as the character guy.
I'll crush your head.
No one has better ideas than Mark, and no one is more frustrating waiting for him to come up with his brilliant idea sometimes. Cut to clip.
Wow! What a wonderful farm!
I remember him watching footage of chickens moving in order to create Chicken Lady.
I'm a chicken lady.
A chicken lady.
Yeah, and I love life.
Everybody seemed to know the head crusher, and everybody seemed to know the chicken lady. It had just become a part of the zeitgeist.
I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing.
Crush it, crush your head.
I sell shoes.
I generally don't come up with characters. I usually come up with a weird idea.
Hey, everybody, look. It's the flying pig.
Hello, everybody.
Outdoorsy. All I did every day was think about more ideas, think about more ideas. How does we make it better? How's it weirder? How's it cooler?
These are the Daves I know, I know. These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know, I know.
The Daves I know should have stopped in the chatting of it. But no, he carries on and they do the whole bloody sketch on it.
Dave Capisano, I hardly know him. These are the Daves I know, I know. These are the Daves I know.
I love that. You've got to take an idea and just drag it out so that people say, you can't still be in on this idea.
We are the Daves he knows he knows. We are the Daves he knows. We are the Daves he knows he knows. We are the Daves he knows.
Kids in the Hall were wildly different people, but they had their artistic vision. They were willing to die on any hill that came up.
Hey, any of you guys ever beat up your dad?
What are you talking about?
Ever beat up your dad?
HBO said, we feel your show's not really cohesive. You need something that ties it together episode to episode. They had a sketch where they sat around as a group and they do a little scene. And HBO said, if you did something like that every episode, it would tie the show together. And the kids in the hall said, fuck you. Fuck you. You know what? We won't do the show. Fuck it. We'll walk away.
Stay down, please, sir.
We were always on the lookout, selling out and not being ourselves and not being authentic.
We're constantly having to explain to outsiders, no, that's not how we do it.
Right.
And it's always that feeling of going, no, that's how normal comedy works.
Yeah, right.
That isn't what we do.
They have a fuck it attitude. If I think it's funny, it's funny. Fuck you. You never quite knew what they would do, which was part of the danger and the fun.
What's that bad man doing to my pet donkey?
Well, that's not just a bad man, son. And there's Hitler.
We went to the network. Okay, here's the network note. Hitler can fuck the donkey, but the donkey has to be alive.
Yeah, that's right.
So it went from Hitler fucks a dead donkey to Hitler fucks a pet donkey.
Yeah. It's just worse.
It was just worse.
Much worse. It's way worse.
Coming right at you, East York.
Etobicoke,
Scarborough.
Malton,
Mississauga.
Brampton,
Reveille.
Pickering,
Mississauga again.
They wanted street cred above all. But I always thought that for their alternative stance, I thought they were very, very good entertainers.
I love the same girl that my friend does, but he doesn't love her half as well.
The laughs came at an unbelievable joke rate.
I saw a great movie last night. Yeah, it was on the Late Show. It was what was it called?
Some sketches I think will go down as classics. I think Citizen Kane is a classic.
Citizen Kane.
Psycho.
Is this about a motel owner who's crazy and kills a woman in a shower?
No, I just told you. It's about this newspaper tycoon. He had a sled named Rosebud.
Then I guess it wasn't Psycho, was it?
No, it wasn't Psycho.
It was Citizen Kane.
No,
To me, it's the quintessential Kevin and Dave sketch, where it's almost entirely about rhythms and ebbing and flowing frustrations.
No, I want to get it myself. Please, I want to remember this myself. Please.
Just sit down.
Kevin exploding with anger, it's the funniest fucking thing I'd ever seen. It's like, oh my God.
You want a mortician! You want a mortician! You want a mortician! You want a mortician!
There's satisfaction to it that I think is better than Who's on First. But really, all of them have a precision that I know that watching them keeps me honest. It goes, oh, geez, just when I thought I was a precise performer. Okay, that's great. And they got better every year.
Ryan? What are you doing with your father's wallet, honey?
I was just looking for Aunt Barb's phone number.
I was just an angsty 20-something-year-old. And Kids in the Hall were kind of the only comedy group that reflected Gen X. So I'm a fan.
You pig! You piece of pork!
It wasn't one sketch in particular that did it for me. It was just like there was a mood to it.
That Gen X thing, it's a sensibility, the outsider status.
What are you guys, high? You smoking crack or something? Are you on drugs? You sniff glue?
They have a alt-rock music kind of vibe with their interstitials and the black and white 8mm, which I always thought was cool.
Can you sign my buttons so I'll have a full set of signed buttons?
Okay.
I love you so much.
You guys rule. Yeah, of course we rule.
That's right, I remember you. I mean, the Kids in the Hall, right?
Kids in the Hall.
And I really identified with Gen X. And that might have been from the music too, like the grunge movement. I think that we were very much seen as like the comic arm of the grunge movement.
I moved to Seattle in 1990, so I was like right there. In the 90s, it was like it kind of turned dark.
You guys got any pot?
No, but try some junk.
Just want some pot, you know? Like,
Get with the New World Order, man.
Kids in the Hall was just like, this is who we are. And I think that people resonate with that.
Great show. Hey, you liked it, did ya? Yeah? Yeah? Did it appeal to your youthful sensibilities?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Except for the fag part.
Kids in the Hall being there during that time, they were part of the churning of it, especially from the queer angle. The idea of queerness was still abstract in many people's minds.
It's happy hour. Time for a monologue. Gather around, boys.
Doing Buddy Cole was very important for me. If anyone ever played an effeminate homosexual, it was always a straight person mocking the behavior of gay men. It was never a gay man proudly owning his femininity.
Buddy became a really powerful weapon. You could let the character be and say things that you, the actor or the writer, wouldn't dare say.
It's like being told Satan's a fag. Maybe that's why God's such a homophobe.
A lot of people were offended by Buddy Cole. Like, well, you can't, that's wrong. They couldn't conceive of the fact that a gay man would play that character and not be ashamed.
AIDS was something that happened to other people. But ever since Magic Johnson, I realized it could even happen to me.
We were making fun of AIDS because all I thought about was AIDS. Do comedy, don't get AIDS. Don't get AIDS. Don't get AIDS. That was my whole goal, was to don't get AIDS.
And I remember feeling that it was so important for us. It gave it more power that I was a heterosexual kissing Scott Thompson on the lips, in the midst of the AIDS crisis.
AIDS was still a death sentence, and it was an uncomfortable topic for many, many people, which of course is exactly why the kids gravitated towards something like that.
I wasn't crazy about Buddy Cole at the time. And now when I look at Buddy Cole, I'm like, you know what? First of all, if he's a stereotype, well, he's not that far from me. And also, the things he's saying are pretty spot on.
Give me that stick. But you're a man. Labels.
If he had people running for the exit, that's what comedy should do, as long as the other half of the audience is there laughing.
It's even still powerful now watching it. Someone being openly gay and having an insane twist in it. The surrealism that would come out of the things that he would add into that, which was beautiful.
And Buddy's an alpha queen. He is never the butt of the joke. He will always win.
Hold this. I'll be back.
Season 4 is our best season for our film sketches.
The ambitions and the vision for each member of the group grows exponentially. What's become natural growth of talent and their voice, as their voice matured, was, I have a bigger vision.
It was just stealing from what we were influenced by as we were growing up. 60s Italian filmmaking. Coen Brothers, David Lynch.
Leaving so soon? Why don't you give me a reason to stay? That'll do.
Cut and clear.
It was fantastic, and we started playing with perspective and style and tone and acting in comedy.
I remember there was a Chicken Lady sketch where it was like the Chicken Lady was meeting her mom, I think, and she had like a real moment.
Are you all right, dear?
Yeah, I'm remembering.
I didn't think about the fact that a comedy character in a sketch show could have dimension.
What is it?
They were doing some like bizarre, experimental, cool things, these like mini films almost.
The show started to become very expensive when we tried to essentially execute what was coming out of the writer's room. The zenith of this was Love and Sausages, which was a Bruce project.
I was sort of into weird Tarkovsky films and stuff then, and that was just one that we just kept wanting to go to style.
It's about an odd little character, you know, who works at a sausage factory. And I started pulling references. There was, you know, a little Delicatessen, a little David Lynch, other Eastern European films that I had seen. I mean, it's a very visual piece, so there wasn't a lot of dialogue.
I love that piece because there's not one joke in it. There may be a laugh in it. I know Scott screaming sausages is a laugh. I don't know if the other guys even like that piece.
Oh, I thought it was awful. And I couldn't believe we were wasting 2 days of production on it, because we never did that. The art department was spending so much money, and it was like all of these resources were going into the sketch that I couldn't see a single joke in. So I hated it.
It's brilliant. It's beautifully shot. I mean, the more jaded version of it was, oh, it's for their director's reel.
I thought I needed a fucking job after this was over. And I thought that looked like a fun job. And I actually was kind of an asshole. I said, I'm not coming back unless I get to direct films next year.
There was a great deal of tension in fifth season. Bruce definitely wanted to direct. Scott wanted his own show, his own half hour. So that's what he negotiated.
Welcome to Chalet 2000, my northern home away from home.
They, by this point, all had different aspirations. And so you started to see there wasn't the cohesion that there had been, so it was harder to arrive at what's the best strategy for all of us.
I want to do this, so you have to cancel that sketch so I can do the thing I want to do. That sort of thing went on all the time. Yelling at each other and calling each other terrible names and having tantrums and storming off. Scott was pretty good at it because he had a pretty raging temper. Mark and Bruce were brilliant at it.
Bruce was rough. He was always trying to control things.
And I was just, my way, my way, my way, my way, my way. I'm better, more scenes, more scenes.
Bruce and I started spitting at each other. We nearly came to blows because he's a pushy little fuck. And so am I in my own Weasley little way.
We had no healthy mechanism for making decisions. So it was exhausting all the time. There's nothing in show business more exhausting than sketch comedy. And there's really nothing more exhausting than being the five guys who have to sign off on everything.
I would be just so stressed and fucked up. Like, I would go to bed at night and my ears would just be ringing.
We would do television, we would do tours, we would write, we would just never stopped. Never stopped. Emotionally, we just couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it anymore.
We did have a meeting where we talked about we should probably stop. We didn't know how long we could keep it going.
I was the only one at the meeting to go, yeah, let's do another season. Because I was the character guy. I was doing weirder and weirder and more specific characters, a lot of them on films that look gorgeous, and I wasn't tired yet. And I have no ambition.
Mark wanted to keep going, but the rest of us were just like looking at him like, we can't. We just can't do this anymore.
Excuse me? I am gonna miss this so much.
The fact that we weren't gonna try and get another season took a huge weight off us, and we actually were enjoying it again.
It felt like we could finally breathe. Well, we knew a great chapter in our life was over, and we knew we'd done some kick-ass comedy.
Boom. John? They couldn't shut me up. Party people in the house say yeah!
We take you to a television studio in Toronto. The kids in the hall were working there, taping their last show.
Okay, 5 minutes to show, 5 minutes. Yes. Come on. Okay. That's a beautiful thing to see. Have a good show, have a good show.
Ah, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning.
The finale was super poignant, and it was very theatrical, the way they did it.
We will be requiring that you all turn in your security passes, your coffee mugs, and your wigs. Well, adios.
I forget whose idea that was. It wasn't mine, but that was amazing. That sort of said a lot in one quick, swift motion.
It was incredibly touching. It was upsetting. You just watch it, you're like, oh fuck, it's over. Like, it's done.
It was sad. Yeah, I'm getting teary.
Some people cried and some people hugged, and I'm just kind of, I just go numb, you know. That's what a wasp does.
Thank God that's finally over.
We're building up to our post-TV career. We better strike now while the iron's hot. We wanted to kind of follow the Python model.
As a sketch troupe, there was only one blueprint, Monty Python. And Monty Python did a few seasons of a TV show, and they needed a movie every 3 or 4 years.
After the series was over, we all had a short vacation, and then we all came back and tried to come up with ideas for movies. I think we were still too tired, and also suddenly, for the first time, worried about, you know, what was going to come next, and what were we going to do? What if this doesn't work? I had a small child and a pregnant wife, and I had fairly quickly dwindling savings. I really luckily wound up getting a chance to do the news radio pilot. We had a live tour booked, and in order for me to do the news radio pilot, we had to move one show in New York, and I offered to pay for any return tickets.
We were less accommodative, like, well, what are the rules then? You can just, like, break out of the troupe. We were young, feisty.
It was weird, because Dave and I are best friends. We always thought that if the troupe split up, it'd be Dave and I.
Kevin was the worst. He was the most adamant that I should turn down the pilot. I just went, well, that's insane. I'm not going to do that.
And I remember for the first time ever dreading going to a writer's room with the kids in the hall. I think part of the problem was, because it was a movie, I was suddenly agreeing with Mark and Bruce. So I'm the one that sort of changed the dynamic. I was sort of the problem.
They had never written all together. There was a lot of discussion about what should we do, you know, how do we stand by what we believe in, but still do a Hollywood movie.
I loved the script. It just didn't have the thing where a studio would go, we're so excited.
We were fighting with the script, with Paramount. They kind of weren't letting us do what we wanted to do. And we wrote so many drafts.
I didn't like that we were rushing to meet a Paramount deadline, but nobody would listen to me because they were all mad at me for doing news radio. We couldn't agree on anything, and any ideas I had, I couldn't get into the script. So I just said, well, I want to minimize what I'm doing on it because I don't want to be around these guys. Our manager called me up and said, don't worry, they're not going to make this movie. Paramount hates the script. It's not going to get made. But if you don't sign the contracts, nobody's going to get paid for writing it. And so I said, all right, I'll sign the contracts. And then Lorne talked Paramount into making it.
I didn't know Dave was that unhappy. I just thought, a movie for Paramount, of course you're going to show up and do it. And then at some point he refuses and there's lawyers.
So we had to sue him for him to come do the film.
Did that feel like a betrayal, or was that just more of a...
Oh, I don't think it so much felt like a betrayal as, in fact, was one.
And action! Action!
Well, you can stay the right in this. You can, yeah. Way, bye, honey. Way, bye.
Baby.
Going into production was horrible. None of us were talking as friends anymore.
They would all hang out in each other's trailers and whatever, and Dave was like, you know, his trailer was down the block, and like nobody went there, and bad side of town.
The biggest riff was Kevin and Dave. They really broke up. They said terrible things to each other, and I said some terrible things to Dave. It was ugly. It was ugly.
Well, I would not want to say anything about the Dave Foley situation, but it's pretty serious. Well, it's all completely untrue, the rumors you've been hearing, but, well, that's good. No one
that's fine. No one quit the troop. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
We're 5 happy guys.
And they're integrated, right?
I didn't speak to Dave all through the making of Brain Candy. I only spoke to Dave when we were on camera. It never interfered with our work. Like, everything between action and cut was still flawless.
The biggest part of that trip, relationship-wise, to Dave is sort of me. It was just like a horrible feeling while making a comedy. I mean, we made a comedy about depression, and I think those vibes caused depressing things to happen.
There was a lot going on in everybody's personal life, which made it really grueling and difficult.
My wife left me a few months ago over the movie, and that I've been tossing and turning at night over that.
We were all depressed. My brother died. My brother committed suicide. The movie helped because I had something to do, but I was a broken man.
Get that. You know, someone.
Why? I'm here for a job.
I'm gonna fucking kick it out of your fucking head into the water. Almighty, there's too many fucking people.
Everything's been heaven so far. This is the one bad day.
The joke being that they've all been bad days.
We worked so hard on that film, it was no fun. And I remember saying to Kevin, even if this makes $100 million, it won't be worth it. This was so hard.
It was a disaster financially, even critically. It was very few critics liked it. The ones that did loved it, but the ones that hated it, like in a way that was personal.
I thought this movie was awful, dreadful, terrible, stupid, idiotic, unfunny, painful.
The disaster of Brain Candy made us think, well, we're done.
Failure is really hard to take. And once you've tasted it, you really don't want to taste it again. At that point, it was really hard to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Groups of men trying to figure it out is a very weird thing. I mean, we all had, I think, problems understanding that we were part of a group that was bigger than we were.
We'd been together like in each other's armpits for a decade by this point. It was natural that we want to wander away.
I was sort of lost. It was probably the hardest thing in my life.
Oh, I was definitely out of the troop. I was out of the troop before Brain Candy and sort of just said, well, it's been a nice 10 years. I'll see you guys.
Well, I guess this is the way it's going to be. The Kids in the Hall are over now.
Hey, everybody. Don't panic. I mean, I'm only crushing your head.
This Father's Day, Comedy Central spends 12 hours with our favorite kids, the kids in the hall.
What Comedy Central would do, which was very, very helpful for the show, was that they would just marathon it. And that really ignited the U.S. interest in the show.
Well, we didn't give birth to them, but we loved them like our own. Watch Father's Day with the Kids, a 12-hour marathon, June 21st, beginning at noon.
The shows had a real traction among kids in dorms and that demo. Kids were smoking weed and watching the shows.
Oh, I'm holding it in. All of a sudden, Comedy Central did bring us to a completely new audience.
I discovered Comedy Central and the Kids in the Hall. Mark was a vampire that had brought Scott home and was apparently going to fuck him, and Scott didn't understand what was going on. And finally, when he realized that the vampire was coming on to him, he said, I gotta tell you.
I don't do nothing.
You come, don't you?
Yeah? Great!
And I remember thinking, how the fuck did they say that? So I'm going, is anyone watching the same thing I'm watching?
In my bedroom to flip on the TV and put on Kids in the Hall. And I remember watching just like mouth agape as like a 16-year-old like,
I'm not gonna spread for no roses.
holy fuck, they went for it.
Look, there goes a leather dyke with her nipples pierced.
Oh, wow. Oh, hey, there's a leather man with his ass hanging out.
Look, there goes a mistress with her slave.
I was a young queer kid watching the reruns all the time and being like, this is amazing. It just felt anarchic and kind of rebellious and label defying. Yeah, it just blew my tiny mind.
So one of the first things I did online was look for Kids in the Hall. And there was a news group for the Kids in the Hall called alt.tv.kids-in-hall. We spoke the same language, the quotes, the references. We didn't ever want to see them as broken up. We were still there for like the magic of the five of them, and we talked about it constantly.
Very quiet, quiet.
We'd all had success. David News Radio, he was the star of it. I'd done Larry Sanders, which was an incredible show. Bruce had directed movies. Mark had been on Saturday Night Live. Kevin was his cartoon god. Nothing was like Kids in the Hall.
The cult that we became, that was a quiet train with a quiet engine. Our lawyer said, you know, the next Saturday Night Live, you're the second highest rated show on Comedy Central, and that threw me for a loop.
Kevin and Scott were both living in LA at the time, so I started calling Kevin up, gradually started sort of healing our friendship. Then the two of us started hanging out with Scott.
Gentlemen.
My dad had just had a stroke, and they asked, is he still drinking? I said, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not his drinking hand that got paralyzed. He's fine.
We all laughed, and I think I can't speak for them, but I know I started thinking, oh, we can do this.
And that was the tiptoeing back together.
There's something special about the Kids in the Hall, the chemistry between them. They can't get that anywhere else. So I called the guys, and give me the authority to go out and solicit an offer for you guys.
We were going to do the first tour, and we did a conference call. And I remember Scott, who's got the worst fucking business sense in the world, and said, we're not going to try to make money on this, are we? And it's like, I kind of wouldn't mind making a little bit of money. And then, of course, at the end, he says, I thought the money'd be better.
That's the one. The beat. This is pretty good.
It sold out in 2 seconds. You bought tickets on Comedy Central, it sold out like that.
And my mum announced that she'd got tickets to Massey Hall to see the Kids in the Hall. And then I got there, the atmosphere was like electric. The audience was so diverse and kind of queer and young and cool. It just felt like the coolest thing in the world. And I already knew I wanted to do comedy, but I was like, oh, if it's anything like this, then this is like the life.
Have a good show.
Yay, the Kids in the Hall were always a great live act. In fact, I'd say they're better on stage than they ever were in any filmed medium. So for them to regroup and to do the tour in 2000, of course it's going to be exciting. And I realized, oh my God, there's a groundswell of fandom out there.
It wasn't until the tour that we saw what had been going on that we had become like the staple, you know.
You leave this nice homosexual alone. Excuse me, sir, are you okay? Get lost, Killjoy!
Easy to beat up, hard to kill.
Well, the first tour was sort of amazing. Like we realized that we had a big audience. It was fun.
Definitely like a rock show energy. People would throw up, hand signs and scream, "Hail Satan."
They're fucking Iron Maiden. Like, they can still fucking shred no matter what.
Most comedians would rather have been in a rock band.
I think everybody.
Every rock band wants to be in a comedy troupe.
It was nuts. And we've been addicted to it ever since.
And my granddaughter, Janie.
Oh, is Janie dead?
What did you think of the show? It was awesome. All three of us came in 2002 and they were here last time. So how big of fans are you? Well, we have all the DVDs that are out right now.
It was the biggest collection of freaks and geeks you've ever seen.
It was that thing going from town to town to town and always seeing the same people from every community would come out.
Goth girls with daddy issues.
Yeah. 41-year-olds.
Like the weirdos.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we brought some outsiders. And there's a lot of us.
Sketch comedians, they're dorks, they're losers, they're a bunch of nerds, but one of the biggest things about the Kids in the Hall is they made sketch cool.
I think us doing live tours, which we started in 2000, and we did a few, brought us together in a way that the show had never had.
So we like each other more than we've ever liked each other right now. And I think we're actually in a great place.
By the third tour, not wanting to stagnate, that was a tour of all new sketches, and that was very exciting for us. And the show went as well as our best of show.
We kept thinking, well, those sketches were really good that we wrote for those tours. I bet we could write other ones. I mean, that's why we did Death Comes to Town.
I guess hell froze over. They're back.
Death Comes to Town. How more dramatic can you get?
Well, I guess we're dark comics, and what's darker than death? We're probably quietly obsessed with it.
I hope the last thing I say on this earth is not "I love you," but a joke.
Don't let the music die.
We won't.
We won't. And don't replace me.
Death is just inherently funny because it negates everything else. Death is the one thing that should remind you that absolutely everything else about life is absurd and essentially meaningless. So I get so wrapped up in it.
Oh, I'm sorry if my death and rebirth story bored you. Perhaps if I had some tits in my story, you would have been more interested. Death and tits, would I have done it?
Wait a minute.
I mean, the ultimate joke in life is that you're gonna die. It's the punchline. I've accepted since a very young age that you just don't know what's around the corner.
A young gunman armed with 2 automatic rifles wandered the halls of this school this morning, shooting at anyone that moved.
I was in a shooting when I was a boy, in a school.
Within 10 minutes, a teacher, a student, and the gunman were dead, and 14 students injured.
Margaret Wright, I think it was her first year of teaching, and she got murdered by the boy behind me.
The school shooting shaped his childhood. I mean, you can imagine the level of trauma with a school shooting. They weren't very common back then, and it was the most shocking thing. I don't think you ever really get over that trauma. I really don't.
When we were doing Death Comes to Town, I had a pain in my gut. I always think about the bullet from when I was a child that missed me. I always think of it following me my whole life. Just following me and following me. then finally hitting. I just knew it was something terrible. The doctor told me, you have non-Hodgkin's gastric lymphoma. And it's a very virulent cancer that takes you down very quickly.
I remember going with Scott to his first chemo treatments. It was, a fairly high probability that he was going to die.
The entire shoot of Death Comes to Town was around my cancer treatment.
We probably could have gone to the CBC and said, hey, can we wait 6 months? But it just felt like, no, like that would have been a tonic for him.
Scott's view and our view was a much better way to spend that time was to be doing the thing we love doing the most.
Scott,
yes.
where are we?
We are standing here in North Bay, Ontario, getting ready for day 2 of our shoot, Death Comes to Town.
Basically, for me, it was like, I need to do this. This might be the last thing I ever do.
We weren't sure how it would affect him physically, if he could even do the performing.
It was odd at first. It was hard to know how to help him when he was having bad moments, because he would break down in tears a lot. I'm not so good at comforting people, so I would just sort of be silly, and he would sort of cheer up for a bit.
Kevin and Scott and I were all staying in the same group of cottages on Lake Nipissing. So we'd all just sit out there on the beach and drink and talk and build a fire, and we had these great nights together out there.
Everything went wrong, like my calf muscle blew up. I can't even walk. We're doing a show about death, and I'm being stalked by death. I cried a lot. I was very sad. I was scared. I was terrified.
I remember when we were rehearsing and he came in and he had a little hat on and he looked like fucking older than he does now. I remember he went and lied on a futon and he started to cry. And I went over and, I lay down with him and I kind of cuddled him, cradled him. And I said, you're not gonna die. Mark's gonna die. Because he sends back so much fucking wine. And you know who's gonna die? Dave's gonna die. Because his ex-wife's gonna kill him. And you know what's gonna happen to Kevin? He's gonna blow out his heart doing an improv. And you know how I'm gonna die? I'm gonna die working to death. You're gonna die last.
Here we go.
There's no greater high than coming to the brink of death and winning.
I'm gonna ring the bell. Here we go. Ready? I broke it.
Just don't know. Think I will explain the show. We're the kids in the hall. You might be here just because of rain. So I think I will explain the kids in the hall.
Their legacy is one of empowering misfits and outsiders, of being anti-authority. They make me feel very proud to be Canadian, to be honest.
A lot of their scenes are timeless, and I don't think anyone has pulled it off quite like the Kids in the Hall have.
It's crazy to me that there's kids out there who don't know Kids in the Hall. I'd put their fucking intellects and their talents up against anybody in the world.
We played at a club called the Rivoli. Lord Michaels discovered us, but didn't like 3 of the kids in the hall.
The best of their work, I think, is really in the front rank of comedy, period.
I think the Kids in the Hall will be viewed as one of the greatest sketch troupes of all time.
We're the show that your grandpas told you about. Ancient Kids in the Hall.
Gotta get his reaction.
Yeah, take his reaction. Take the mask off. Okay, tell him.
Okay, ready.
Tell him. Go. Kids in the Hall were and are the successors to Monty Python.
We're not quitting. We're not quitting. We're not quitting till one of us dies. Trolley Dave.
stand by, please. Camera move. Framed.
What's going to play at your funeral, Mark?
God, I don't know.
Mark, you're on. Ready, dirt. And dirt.
Depends. Will there be fog at my funeral?
Oh, God, yeah. Dry
Most
ice.
likely.
Yeah,
Fucking
most likely. Then just a single,
One note?
Appalachian violin.
Oh.
Playing one note.
This is true. We love each other. That's the key.
I couldn't have done any of it if you guys hadn't written me those tiny, perfect little roles.
And you're very lucky in your life if you're going to find 2 or 3 people that you hit it off with. But to find 4 other people is a miracle.
The Kids in the Hall is a love story. The 4 worst people you could ever be forced to love for 40 years.
I am going to play T-Rex at Scott's funeral.
T-Rex?
Metal Guru, is it true?
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know the song, but I'm sure it means a lot to me.
I'm not even going to have a funeral. It's just you guys. You just arrange a screening of Duck Soup, and that was it.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was all just about, can I make these 4 people laugh? Kids in the Hall are my audience for life. And notice how I work the word audience in there. Best name ever.
I guess mine would be I'm sorry.
For dying or just your life?
It's just for my life.
Yeah.
Sorry. There are many things. They're family, they're salvation, they're an end to loneliness, and no one understands me as well as those 4. No one.
I feel like there's such a compassion for each other now. And yeah, no, we're going to keep doing it until we can't do it.
This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end.
You're not a friend. You're not a friend. You're jostlers.
I guess they call it a reboot, but we're trying to think of it as the 6th season of The Kids in the Hall.
Making a TV show, I think, is kind of a nice release for everybody. We don't have this freedom anywhere else.
It's us against the world again. What a thrill.